Keystone University, based in Dublin, Ireland, with the mission of building the world's best university, developed the Atlantis Ireland theory. They claim to have over 1,000 pieces of evidence to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that ancient Ireland is the legendary lost island of Atlantis and the mother culture of human civilization. I will summarize some of their evidence in this video. The legend of Atlantis was recounted by Plato in his seminal work, Dialogues, where he describes Atlantis as being an island beyond the Pillars of Heracles, modern-day Gibraltar. Though Plato mentioned only a single island of Atlantis, his student Aristotle introduced the idea of two islands, Albion, interpreted as Britain, and Yern, Sacred Island, interpreted as Ireland, both located beyond the Pillars of Heracles. Atlantis, as described by Plato, was a sizable island in the Atlantic Ocean, characterized by a central plain surrounded by mountains. Ireland is the only substantial island on Earth that reasonably fits this description. Various details in Plato's account align closely with Ireland, such as steep cliffs along one coast, likely the cliffs of Moher, gentler slopes on the opposite side, a fertile central plain with a view of the sea, and an encircling mountainous terrain. Plato's reference to hot and cold springs on Atlantis could be explained by the 27 known thermal springs in Ireland, primarily in the Boyne Valley region, along with numerous cold springs referred to as holy wells. Scientists once believed that Ireland was completely frozen over during the Pleistocene Ice Age, which lasted for 2.5 million years and ended around 11,600 years ago. Thus, it was deemed uninhabitable until around 11,600 years ago. However, recent research shows that even at the peak of the Ice Age, ice sheets did not completely cover Ireland, explaining the lack of drumlins, egg-shaped ridges formed by glacial activity, across the center of the island. Flint stone tools have been found in 3 separate locations in Ireland, dating back 200,000 to 400,000 years, proving that human habitation in Ireland was far earlier than commonly believed. These finds were made in Mell, County Louth, 10 kilometers from Newgrange, Ballico, County Down, and on the remote Aran Islands off the County Galway coast in the Atlantic Ocean. If Ireland has been habitable for hundreds of thousands of years, as new research suggests, this would also explain its many unique species of freshwater fish, flora, and fauna, which differ significantly from those of neighboring Britain and continental Europe. There seems to be a close association between Ireland and the Egyptian civilization. In fact, it appears likely that the civilization in Ireland predates that of Egypt. Several ancient Egyptian texts, including the Book of the Dead, the Pyramid texts, and the Hymn of Ramesses IV, mention 10 kings who ruled during the reign of the gods. The 10 kings, including the famous Egyptian god Thoth, were said to have come from an island in the Atlantic around 11,900 years ago by boat. According to Egyptian texts, this island in the Atlantic was eventually overwhelmed by water. This ancestral land is known as the Sunset Land or the Island of the Setting Sun. Ireland is still referred to as the Land of the Setting Sun. Another name for this land in Egyptian texts was Urani, which is etymologically very close to Erin, the ancient name for Ireland. Another interesting parallel between the Irish and Egyptians is found in their genetics, particularly among the Egyptian pharaohs. The combination of red hair, blue eyes, and milky white skin is the rarest genetic combination on Earth, possessed by fewer than 1 million people, 0.0001% of the global human population. Yet Ireland has the highest concentration of red-haired genes in the world. Red hair, which ranges from strawberry blonde to fiery red or auburn, was believed to have first appeared around 40,000 to 50,000 years ago. Blue eyes, thought to have originated about 10,000 to 15,000 years ago, come from a single ancestor. In genetics, a haplogroup is a group from the human family tree that traces back to one individual ancestor. The Irish are part of the same genetic haplogroup as the lineage of the pharaohs. The highest concentration of Pharaoh Tutankhamun's haplogroup RM269 is found in Ireland. Tutankhamun's grandmother had red hair, as did others like Pharaoh Ramesses II and Cleopatra. Thousands of fair and red-haired mummies have been discovered across Egypt. Whenever pockets of redheads are found, descendants of ancient Irish populations are usually present. This includes the Phoenicians, Hebrews, Berbers, and Indo-European Aryans. The term Aryan has been linked to Ireland, meaning, from Aaron. Additionally, red-haired mummies have been found all over the world, including in New Zealand, China, Peru, and Alaska. Another link between Ireland and Egypt is found at Nabta Playa, located 804 kilometers, 500 miles south of Cairo, deep in the Nubian desert. Nabta Playa is home to one of the oldest stone circles in the world and is considered the birthplace of Egyptian civilization. Stone circles and megalithic structures like dolmens and henges, found around the world, are believed to have originated from Ireland and Britain, which has one of the highest concentrations of these structures and arguably some of the most impressive examples. In particular, Newgrange, situated in Ireland's Boyne Valley, is proposed as the circular temple of Atlantis, as described by Plato, a temple dedicated to Poseidon with a diameter of half a stadia, 83 meters, which corresponds to the measurements of Newgrange, possibly making it the most ancient temple on Earth. Plato also mentioned that the capital city of Atlantis was situated 50 stadia, 8.3 kilometers, from the sea, which corresponds to the Boyne Valley where Newgrange is located, and where the ancient capital of Ireland is situated. Stonehenge in Wiltshire, England, is the world's most renowned henge. According to Gerald of Wales, the large stones at Stonehenge were transported from the plains of Kildare, Ireland. He asserted that the stones had their origins in Africa and were initially transported to Ireland by giants through the air. Geoffrey of Monmouth, a Welshman, furthered this claim, suggesting that Merlin the Wizard, along with King Uther Pendragon, father of King Arthur, removed the stones from Ireland after defeating 7,000 Irish inhabitants for these stones. Geoffrey of Monmouth also asserted that Britain was initially inhabited solely by giants before the arrival of the Greek Brutus of Troy. Brutus defeated the giants and founded the city of New Troy, later known as London. He also named the island Britain after himself. Many of Ireland's Stone Age monuments were meticulously aligned with the movements of celestial bodies, including the sun, moon, stars, and the four cardinal points. Numerous chambered mounds were aligned with the solar cross, representing the solstices and equinoxes. All of this demonstrates that the ancient Irish had a sophisticated knowledge of astronomy. Stone circles, also known as Druid stone circles, are traditionally associated with Druidism, a philosophy that predated Rome, Greece, and Egypt by millennia and is now accepted as originating from Ireland. In 389 AD, a Druid college in Gaul, Bibracte, France, was destroyed by a Christian mob. This college had an astonishing 40,000 students and offered courses in various disciplines, including philosophy, literature, grammar, law, medicine, astronomy, and architecture. Unfortunately, this was just one of many instances of the destruction of the teachings of Druidism, which was so thorough that it is difficult to find extensive information about them in modern times. However, the philosophy is believed to have predated and shaped all the world's religions and civilizations. It is no wonder that the Greek philosopher Aristotle believed philosophy was brought to the Greeks by the Druids. The language of the Irish Druids, including the Irish Tree alphabet and Ogham, written, and ancient Irish Gaelic, spoken, was likely the same language and alphabet used by the entire ancient world, from Ireland to India. This forgotten ancient tongue has remarkable similarities to the world's oldest languages, including Hebrew, Arabic, and Sanskrit. The ancient Irish likely had a significant impact on Greek civilization as well. Pythagoras, born in the 6th century BC, learned from a Druid named Abaris. Abaris was said to be a healer and prophet from the mystical island of Hyperborea, which, like Atlantis, was thought to be another name for Ireland. Hyperborea was described as a fertile island to the north of Gaul, France, featuring oak trees, a circular temple, Newgrange, and inhabited by a race of giants. Ireland has earned a reputation as the land of giants. The Book of Glendalough, housed in Oxford, England, contains the comprehensive genealogy of Irish giants, tracing their lineage back to the biblical Noah. This ancient book meticulously records names, marriages, children, residences, and other details of the Irish giants. The fabled, a race of giants, were said to be the original inhabitants of Ireland. According to legend, many of them perished when sea levels rose. However, some fabled managed to survive on elevated land, while others found refuge in Britain, Greece, and the Northern Islands. The Irish giants who migrated to Greece became known as the fabled, meaning the bag men, as they were subjected to slavery, carrying bags filled with construction materials for over 2 centuries. These fabled left Greece and eventually sailed to Iberia, modern-day Spain, and then to Ireland around the time when the Israelites were said to have left Egypt. In the 1870s, the body of an Irish giant was discovered near the famous Giant's Causeway. This giant stood at an astounding height of 12 feet and 2 inches and even had 6 toes on one of his feet. His remains were exhibited in Dublin, Liverpool, and Manchester for £6 per visitor before being tragically lost during transportation to London in 1876. Interestingly, they also described Hyperborea as a place of priests with harps. The harp, believed to originate in Ireland, is a national symbol of the country. The goddess Eriu, from whom Ireland derives its name, is often depicted holding a harp, as are many other significant figures in Irish mythology. Additionally, the Oracle of Delphi, the most sacred site in ancient Greece, was founded by 3 prophets from the sacred island of Hyperborea who took up residence there. The Greeks referred to these prophets as Pegasus, Aegeus, and Olin, which is a corruption of the 3 ranks of Irish Druids, Bagois, Akis, and Alim. The Greek Phorenicus describes the Hyperboreans as being of the ancient blood of the Titans. Atlantis literally means the island of Atlas. The Titan Atlas, a key figure in Greek mythology, is depicted as the bearer of the heavens, and also the first king of Atlantis. Interestingly, the Greek god Hermes, believed to be the Egyptian Thoth, is considered Atlas's grandson. According to early Greek mythology, Atlas lived on the sacred island of Hyperborea, which was also the location of the Garden of Hesperides, a sacred garden with a tree bearing magical golden apples. This garden was also known as the Garden of Atlas or the Orchard in the West. The Greek hero Hercules reached Atlas, who was among the Hyperboreans, and asked him to fetch the golden apples before tricking him and leaving with the prize. Over time, Hyperborea became Hibernia or Hibernia, the Roman name for Ireland. As can be seen, the ancient Irish were pioneers in developing an advanced civilization across various domains such as language, boat crafting, construction, sports, philosophy, laws, and astronomy, amongst others. In sports, the Irish Tailteann Games, which commenced circa 1896 BC, predate the Greek Olympics by over 1,000 years. Court football was another significant aspect of ancient Irish culture, with variations in field and cross-country games. The field game evolved into modern Gaelic football, while the cross-country version laid the foundation for rugby. The Irish Brehon laws stand as the oldest laws on earth. This legal framework emphasized equality and was enforced by the community itself, eliminating the need for a formal police force. Brehon law showcases a deeply humane and highly cultured society where no one, not even a king, was above the law. The Brehon laws diverge significantly from other legal systems throughout history in their emphasis on fines rather than resorting to violent or capital punishment. In this legal framework, the law revolved around fines that the guilty party paid to the victim's family or tribe, and it was the broader family's responsibility to regulate the behavior of its members, maintaining social order. Proclaimed from the Hill of Tara for thousands of years, these laws established it as the world's earliest and foundational parliament. Each judgment rendered set precedents, with wandering referees known as brehons playing the role of adjudicators in disputes. Ireland's modern police force, known as the Gardaí, does not carry firearms and is referred to as the Guardians of the Peace. This legal system finds only one comparable in complexity and humanity, the Hindu Sanskrit legal system, underscoring the long-standing connections between ancient Ireland and the Hindus. In boat crafting, the early Irish are believed to have invented boats ahead of other cultures, making them highly mobile. Traditional Irish boats, known as curraghs or cots, have been utilized for fishing and river navigation since the Stone Age. Constructed with woven materials and animal hides for waterproofing, these boats evolved into larger sea vessels known as curraghs or naomhog. These early Irish boats, equipped with sails, are considered precursors to the Galway hooker, resembling the Arab dhow in design and capable of transporting significant cargo. The discovery of an 11,500-year-old wood carving called the Shigar idol in Siberian Russia, featuring the unmistakable pattern of Irish ogham writing, and the presence of ogham writing at various sites across North America, attest to their mobility. The possibility that ancient Irish seafarers may have traveled to the Americas long before Columbus is evidenced by the presence of mound builders in the USA. There are about 50,000 mounds scattered throughout Ireland, often referred to as fairy forts, with Newgrange being a primary example. The USA boasts an abundance of such mounds scattered across its landscapes, especially in Ohio State, dating back to the earliest of times. Native American communities have passed down numerous stories and legends that speak of a race of red-haired gigantic individuals responsible for constructing these colossal mounds. Bones of these giants, some measuring over 10 feet, were also uncovered during the 19th and 20th centuries, but unfortunately lost to the Smithsonian Museum. These mound structures, known as tumuli or cairns, are not unique to America but are found across almost all continents of the world. South American tribes also have legends that recount the arrival of bearded individuals with red or fair hair who arrived in boats and imparted knowledge about farming and construction. For those who have seen my earlier video on the Rick Hat structure being the location of Atlantis, one may wonder how it's possible that Atlantis is Ireland instead. There is no contradiction, though, as I will explain next. The Rick Hat structure, located in Mauritania, Africa, is close to the Atlas Mountains, an extensive mountain range stretching across North Africa, primarily inhabited by Berber populations. These Berber communities are descendants of the ancient Irish, with a notable prevalence of red hair and blue eyes among groups such as the Riffians in Morocco and the Kabyles in Algeria. Atlas, as mentioned earlier, is also associated with the first king of Atlantis. According to Greek mythology, Atlas was both the first king of Atlantis and the first king of Mauritania in Africa. The Rick Hat structure may therefore be part of an early Irish settlement named Cerne, thus making it a part of Atlantis as well. In this scenario, Ireland would be the island of Atlantis, while the Rick Hat structure, as Cerne, would serve as the city of Atlantis.